The topic for today's session is security and device management. And my name is Vivek Kumar. I'm a product manager from the Zoho directory team. So, the agenda for today's session is, we'll be talking a little bit about the kind of security threats we have in our day-to-day life, followed by how Zoho One can, effectively help you in solving or mitigating all these problems. And also, we have one more new feature that is up for release. We'll be talking about that. We have a new security feature. We'll be talking about that. And finally, we'll end up the session with some of the best practices that your business can potentially use to save your account from any sort of external threats. So, moving back to the scale of security threats, even before talking about this, the kind of security threats that's out there today, let's just try to understand how the IT and the work applications have evolved over decades. It started with, during the 1980s or the 1990s, it started with the internet boom. People started looking out for, the internet things as one of the major points. And then slowly around, the 2000s, it started with the cloud computing. People, who mostly used the on-premises applications slowly started moving on to the cloud-based applications. And now is the era of, more about the hybrid work environments. And then we also have the generative AI in place. It actually evolved a lot from what we see from the 90s, starting from the internet boom until today about the generative AI. Things have evolved, as and when you adopt new technologies to your business, the kind of security threats as well has exponentially increased. There are a lot of cyber security attacks that are out these days that who are ready to, sort of steal your data as soon as, it's available. So, talking about the kind of security threats we have, this is a sample, stat that we have collected from the M-Broker, which says by 2025, the global cybercrime are expected to grow by 15%, which is, 10.5 trillion by 2025. And also, 4 out of the 5 breaches are somehow linked to your passwords. These are some of the common stats that actually makes us wonder, you need to really have a strong security mechanism in place to protect your account from any sort of external threats. Most of us, if you look at the stat, most of us might actually wonder, I don't have to really, care about it because this largely affects the enterprise business. That is not really the case. 43% of the businesses that are affected by the cybersecurity attacks are predominantly SMBs. SMBs can fall under any bucket, any sort of buckets, maybe 100 employees, 200 employees, 300 employees. But then the amount that you see here, $3.3 million per breach, is a very big number for any sort of SMBs. That's how the security threats are these days. Now, let's talk about some of the cybersecurity case studies that we have seen around the SMBs. The first thing, the first major cybersecurity attack that we see around is the phishing attack. Phishing emails or phishing attacks are a kind of cyber security attacks then that sends you emails, messages, by just looking at as if it looks from a genuine website, but which is not actually. Based on that, there is a simple case study that we have gathered as well. A CEO of a boutique hotel lost around 1.1 million, as he assumed that he got an email from the IRS thinking he clicked on a link that he assumed that it was gotten from the IRS, and that actually got all of his, all of the money from his bank accounts, which potentially costed him $1.1 million. Moving back to the next kind of security attack is a keylogger. Keylogger is typically a hardware or a software that gets installed in your machine without even you noticing it. What it does is every keystroke that you make, automatically the data or every keystroke that you make, the data is being automatically sent back to the hacker, which potentially gives him access to all of your business or bank related informations. Connecting to the keylogger, there's a business that typically lost around $550,000 to the keylogger cyber threat. And the third part is physical theft. A person was attacked, and his laptop was potentially stolen, which gave the hackers access to 40,000 medical records. Now, this we can count it as a cyber security attack. The reason being is the device that was lost was an unencrypted device. So the reason we are stressing out on the cyber security threats all is that it always connects back to all your data. All they want is the data connected to your applications. Bringing back the previous slide again here is, if you look at all these statistics here, it's all linked to one particular word, which is the password. If someone has got access to your password, they potentially have access to every single set of your information, right from your customer information, you then have your bank information or any personal information. How do you effectively solve this? Or we'll be looking more about how Zoho One can effectively help you in solving this. So far we talked about the threats outside, the case studies, all that. Probably let's play a small game here. Let's try to understand how your passwords are secure, the patterns of your particular passwords. So I'm going to drop in 5 different password patterns. You can just gauge yourself, and at the end of the 5 pointers, we'll probably identify how much you have scored. So the first one is the never reused your passwords. If you have never reused your passwords, then you get a 1 pointer. And then the next one is the no birthdays or anniversaries. If you're using your birthdays or your anniversaries as one of your passwords, then you're easily prone to attack. And the third one is the no dictionary words. Things like Washington, Austin, or any dictionary words, they can be easily breached by the hackers. There are a lot of websites that are publicly available that actually provides you the list of passwords that can be easily used for the phishing attacks. And the fourth one is the no name of close contacts. So if you have your friends or your partner's name as your email or your password, you then are easily prone to attacks. And then the final one is the mixture of uppercase, lowercase, and the alphanumeric characters. I don't think people really do that. Uppercase, lowercase, and numbers. All right. So, let's move on to another, small game. As I mentioned earlier, a lot of the dictionary words, a lot of the passwords that the hackers have, they're all exposed to the outside world. There are a lot of websites these days that actually provides you a list of passwords. If you are looking to, hack into someone's account, you can go to the website, get some of the passwords and you can give it a try. And a lot of it actually really works. So let's just look at a password cracker here. Again, this is a small game that I'm going to ask you people. This is a sample password here. That's part of, Lucy is a dictionary word here that has got along with a special character and a number. Can someone predict how long does it take to actually crack this password? It takes 2 hours to crack a password like a dictionary word along with a special character and a number. Let's get on to the next one, which is again, another dictionary word, Washington, along with special characters. So, it actually takes 57 minutes to crack a password like, a dictionary word, which is Washington, along with a couple of special characters. So we have another dictionary word, which is again Lucy, with an uppercase, and we have numbers and jumbled with special characters. Can someone roughly guess the number here? So the actual time it takes is 10 days to recover a password with a mix of, again, the reason it takes 10 days is the colon there. Not a lot of people really use the colon for their passwords. So that potentially takes 10 days to, sort of hack the password. And then we'll move on to the fourth one, which is, this is not a dictionary word, but this is typically a word back in India that we use. So can someone guess the name for it? This is not a dictionary word again, but then we are using a combination of special characters, colon, and numbers. So it takes 3 years to crack a password that has not got a dictionary word. The primary difference that you can see with the top 3 is the dictionary word. The name Karuvi, it's a Tamil name from the southern part of India, which is not really a dictionary word. That potentially takes a lot of time for the hacker to crack a password, something that's not found in the dictionary. So again, this comes along with, just one additional special character, which is not quite commonly used in the password thing. So it takes 31 years to crack a non-dictionary word along with a special character that's not, predominantly used, something like colon and a special character of, the addition symbol. So the reason we are stressing out, about the password cracker and the password pattern, something like never use your, passwords again or your close contacts. The reason is the passwords are easily hackable these days. If you just have a password to your account, you are prone to any kind of cybersecurity attacks. Now that we have talked about the kind of security threats that are available these days, let me show you with one more example. As you can see here, this is a plain and simple website of Google, right? And then we also have the website for the Office 365. The thing is, there are a lot of websites, that actually they pose as if they are from a genuine website. It actually takes less than a minute to set up a website like this. All right? It doesn't take more than a minute. Last night I hardly took a minute to actually set this up. So, remember, understand, once I set it up and if I can share it with someone, I can easily get their credentials, right? These are the kind of, these are the wide range of attacks that are externally available for the hackers. I'm going to play a video here. Along with the website creation, these are, various amounts of templates that are actually available online. This is, this might look as if the mail is from FedEx, which really is not. These are the kind of templates that are, that are publicly available for any people. You get into a website, you get this template, send it to your customers, you can get all sort of informations. These are, the wide range of attacks or, wide range of things available in market for someone to actually get into your accounts or your data. So, so far we, talked about the scale of security threats that's, widely available even for the public, to easily get into someone's data. So now let's move on to talk about how can Zoho One effectively help you in solving all these problems. So the first thing is, as I mentioned earlier, all the security threats that we talked about, it's all connected to one particular component of your account, which is really the password. If your password, if you if you tend to keep a very simple password for your account, there are high chances, that your account details might be stolen. So for that, we have we have the password policy in Zoho One, that lets you, if you're a business owner who's managing your business, the password policy in Zoho One, sort of helps you to make sure all your employees set a strong password for your account. We have various different criterias for setting the password policy, starting right from the maximum length of the password or the minimum numeric digits, so forth and so on, Along with that, we have a new feature that has been recently released, which is the lockout settings. This actually amounts to a particular kind of attack, which is, you just keep entering a wrong credential continuously, and your account gets logged out. That's the new release that has been rolled out now, which is basically you can define the number of failure attempts that your employee can have within a minimum range of time. And if the employee fails during the attempt, the account will be automatically logged out. So again, they have to contact you to get the account active. These are some of the wide range of password policies that Zoho One has to offer. So most of us might wonder, just having the password, or let me say, I'm just setting a strong password for my account, would that be enough? To an extent, is fine, but then the additional recommendation that we host or that we recommend from our side is the multi-factor authentication. So again, stressing about the importance of having a multi-factor authentication. Generally speaking, multi-factor authentication are divided into 3 different sections, which is something you have, which might be a password or a hardware device, followed by something which is the password or a PIN number or a security question, and then you have the something you are, which is your Face ID or your fingerprint, something like that. The most secured way is the something you are, because something you have, your security token can be easily hacked into or easily taken out. Similarly, something people tend to store their passwords or PIN numbers, in a spreadsheet or a sticky note, which can be easily stolen. Something you are is something that cannot be completely stolen out of you, which is the fingerprint or the Face ID. So since we are talking a lot about the multi-factor authentication, we have recently, released a new feature called as conditional policy that allows your organization to enforce MFA for your users with a wide array of options, starting with the OneAuth. OneAuth, we'll talk more about OneAuth in the upcoming slides. OneAuth predominantly supports, Touch ID, push notification, and a couple of more methods. Along with that, we also have Google Auth, email OTP, and the YubiKey model as the multi-factor authentication. Talking about OneAuth, OneAuth is our homegrown app. I'm happy to say that, it has around 11.5 million downloads, which is the second most downloaded apps from the Zoho's ecosystem. We have been working on OneAuth for a pretty long time, and we're able to, reap the benefits out of it. So, once OneAuth is one of the most secure way to protect your account when compared to YubiKeys or, PIN numbers, all that. Most of our employees, specifically our internal employees, they're just tired of maintaining passwords for their own account. They do not want to enter a password, or they do not want the pain of remembering the password each and every time. What we are currently doing now is we have the passwordless sign-in, which allows you not to have a password for your account. You just straight sign on to your email address with just a push notification to your mobile. So you don't have to have the pain of maintaining a password for your account. Rather, you just get a notification to your mobile number. Once you approve it, you're automatically logged into your systems. So some more additional features that we have as part of OneNote is the smart sign-in. So I'm a big fan of smart sign-in because I use it on a daily basis. Smart sign-in, again, when we talked about password, you have your email address and then a password. And then we moved on to passwordless. There, we do not have the pain of maintaining a password. So in passwordless, you just have to know your credentials. What happens in smart sign-in is you don't even have to have or take the time to enter your email address. All you have to do is just open your OneNote mobile, OneNote app, and then just scan for the QR code on the Zoho accounts page. That will automatically get you logged into the systems. This is the smart sign-in that's widely available as well. Again, some of the benefits that OneNote offers is it offers a single sign-on for all your mobile apps. If you're logged into one particular app in your mobile app, if you're logging into multiple different apps, you will be logged in automatically. Let's say you're logged into Zoho CRM and you're looking to log into Zoho projects or campaigns. You don't have to take the pain of entering the username and password again. Rather, the single sign-on kicks in and you'll be logged in automatically here. And Zoho's OneNote not only offers multi-factor authentication for just Zoho apps, it also supports the multi-factor authentication for external apps as well. Something like if you have a Twitter account, you have a Facebook account, and you can make use of MFA for your personal accounts as well. So some of the additional capabilities that are part of Zoho's OneNote is you can easily migrate from Google Authenticator. If you are actively using Google Authenticator, we have an option to migrate from Google Auth, and you can get to manage multiple different accounts from OneNote. And if you have lost access to OneNote, and if you have a passphrase, you can easily recover your OneNote account. And OneNote is widely available for your iOS, Android, iPad, and Windows machines as well. So the next comes is the routing policy. So when you log into your Zoho account, as soon as you type in your credentials, you'll have there are multiple ways to actually log into the system. You can use a password, you can use a passwordless, you can use your social logins, something like Facebook, Twitter, or something. So there are multiple modes to actually log into your systems. We have brought in routing policy that basically allows you to customize the way your employees logs into the system. Let's say you have two different teams, one from the finance and the other from the sales, and you want your sales employees to log in to Zoho by using the passwordless method. Then you can enforce this routing policy for your sales team that would allow them to log into the systems only using the passwordless method. And then we also have some of the enhanced security policies as part of Zoho One. This is the one that I was talking about earlier. This is a very new feature that is going to be live probably in a day or two, which is, so far, the kind of security policies that you can use in Zoho One is just the IP restriction. You can enforce IP restriction, but we have enhanced a lot on that. What we have done is we are bringing in 7 different conditions. Something like your device compliance, your geographical location, the platform, or if you want your employees to log in only between 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Using this conditional policy, you can define various different rules. And let's say, just for an example here, let me put it this way: if someone from your organization logs into Zoho system from India or elsewhere, you want them to deny access. These are basic use cases that are part of the conditional access policies. So this is how it is going to be in the Zoho One's admin panel. So you define to which group these conditions needs to be applied, and you can define the 7 conditions, which is day, time, geographical location, platform, all these different informations. And you can also define if they can be provided access, or you want them with an additional layer of authentication. So these are the couple of use cases that I said earlier. If a request is from an unmanaged device, or if the IP address isn't from the allowed list, then the access will be denied. As per the policy we have defined, most of the precedence goes over to deny. So we have the actions can be denied, or you sort of prompt them with an extra layer of authentication, or you just allow them access. So, just to reiterate what we have talked about so far, we've talked about the kind of security threats, and then we talked about password policies, and then MFA, and some of the advanced security measures. We'll move on to talk about a little bit about MDM, which is going beyond logins. So Zoho One offers, if you're a Zoho One customer, you can get to manage 25 devices of your employees. That's until 25. It's free. Beyond that, it's a pricing part. So with MDM, you can efficiently manage your employees' devices. Most of the work today goes around the mobile. Checking the mail, or checking some records in CRM. Most of it revolves around the mobile. So you can make use of MDM to effectively manage your employees' mobile as well. So I'm just going to quickly go through a few features in this. You can actually, as an admin, you can distribute apps to their mobile phones, and if you do not want them to access a specific set of apps, you can just define them as block list of apps. Let's say you do not want your employees to access Instagram from their mobile. You can enforce to make sure that they do not access Instagram from their mobile phone. So you also have the data protection with MDM. A lot of employees tend to download softwares in their mobile. Specifically, if you do not want data to be copied from your managed profiles to your unmanaged profiles. Managed profiles are something that you have deployed in their mobile. Unmanaged profiles are something they have downloaded. This sort of protects your company's data. Specific use case here is you do not want your employees to copy data from Zoho CRM and then paste it in, say, WhatsApp or Instagram. By using this work and personal profiles, you can efficiently make sure they do not copy contents from managed to unmanaged device. And then you can also keep a track of the stolen devices. So what is the first thing that you do as soon as a device is stolen? So the first thing, what I do is, as soon as the mobile is lost, with the feature of MDM, you can actually create an alarm. Let's say if you have misplaced it somewhere in this room or in this Austin Convention Center, you can trigger a remote alarm, which will basically give you a loud sound, and you can actually, try to track where your mobile is. Even after the remote alarm, if you're not able to find where the device is, you can make use of the geo-tracking feature. So with the geo-tracking feature, you can actually track where the mobile is. And beyond that, still, if you are not able to, sort of figure out where your mobile is, you then can move on to remote lock, right? You can remotely lock your systems, your mobile phone, or you just completely wipe the data that's in their mobile. And we also have a couple of additional things, which is the enable lost mode, which will totally lock out the phone. So this is how the screen for the stolen or lost mode looks like. The whoever has stolen the mobile will not be able to use the device any further. So as I mentioned earlier, most people, or even after the COVID-19, we are seeing a great traction towards the hybrid work environment. People, if your office network is secure, people tend to work from their home or from some cafes, which may have, a limited security options. For that, what you can define is, you can define Wi-Fi restrictions as well as part of the MDM. So you can actually define a user can connect only to a particular network, not to any, public networks or something like that. And then finally, you can also define geofencing, which is the employee should access the managed apps only from a designated location. Let's say you want your employees to, access CRM only from Austin. You can then define geofencing as well. So these are some of very common features that are part of Zoho One's MDM. And we'll finally end up with some of the best practices that we recommend from our side, which is have a complex password policy in place. Try to enforce a strong security password policy, followed by you can also go for passwordless, because according to Microsoft, 99% of the attacks can be avoided if you have MFA in place. And you can, plan and prioritize your access using conditional access. That's a far more secured or enhanced security feature that's available. And then you can encrypt your device hard disk, and you can also enforce data protection measures. So these are the best practices that we recommend as part of security and device management in Zoho One. So that brings us to the end of the session. Thank you.